Hey everyone, welcome to another Reasons and Resources episode. This episode we're looking at reasons and resources for learning the Java programming language. As you can see, I have a number of tabs open here, so I can go through and point you to various resources and help me discuss the reasons for learning Java. So let's dive in and think about some of the reasons why you might want to learn, why I learnt it, and those sort of things. So I suppose my first exposure to Java, I'm trying to think actually, it would have been through web development, through just experimenting with running Java applets, to want to have a dynamic capability to certain websites I had designed. And I was also curious, as I saw more and more websites requiring you to run or download the Java runtime environment, knowing a little bit about what that was all about. But I suppose for me what happened was at the same time I was learning the similarly named, although different, JavaScript as well. So I suppose my need for dynamic aspects of websites was largely met for what I wanted to achieve through JavaScript, and therefore I tended to sort of move away from Java. I did buy a couple of books on it and dabbled in it again when I was looking at different experiments in migrating some Python stuff some code I'd written in various other languages, or had I'm trying to think of the best word for this, but had some manual processes I wanted to automate, and I just thought, well, I'll have a play around with Java to do that. And one such thing was basically writing a utility that allowed me to interact with the Spotify API. So I found it really useful for that. Now, I think probably the main attraction, or the main reason why people are attracted to Java, is this idea of write once, run anywhere. So this platform independence gives you a real sort of advantage. So as long as you've got a platform where the hardware and software combination is capable of running a Java virtual machine, it will be able to run Java bytecode, because Java is compiled to Java bytecode, which then enables it to run on this Java virtual machine. So there's some analogies between that, I suppose, and assembly language in some ways. So assembly language is a sort of equivalent for running on specific operating systems and platforms. With Java, the advantage is when you compile it to this bytecode, as long as the machine is capable of running a Java virtual machine, and it has it on there, then it'll run the bytecode. So that means over the years you may find Java running on a lot of platforms that maybe surprise you, because they've been set up so they can run the Java virtual machine. There are other ways you can do it without the Java virtual machine, but that's generally how it's done. And off the back of that, you get this incredible versatility, because there's so many different platforms that you might want to run it on. Therefore, there's a multitude of different applications for the web, mobile, enterprise, scientific software, loads of stuff basically. It's been around since 95, so there's a big code base out there, a big community of developers, ample libraries, frameworks, support. And alongside having a big code base of a language that's been used a lot and is very versatile and platform independent, not surprisingly, it's a high demand programming language, and we'll look at demand as seen through the lens of the yearly Stack Overflow, or this year's Stack Overflow survey, to get an idea of that. And one of the other advantages is having a like a just-in-time compilation system along with efficient garbage collection as well, is that the performance is pretty good. So I'll include some links to other parts of the articles, other articles on Wikipedia, to give you a bit more information, about the principles of the language, which again, act as good ways or good reasons to learn certain languages. If you're interested in learning about threaded languages, or languages that are architect neutral. Also, as I've alluded to, there is some use outside the Java platform, so Android. It's something you can sort of check out, how Java runs on Android, how it's able to do that, and any controversies that surround that, to do with the API, stuff like that, and what the limitations are as well. So it's an interesting rabbit hole to go down when you go into this sort of thing. The other thing, or one of the reasons why I became interested again in Java, actually was because I was starting to discover languages that run on the JVM. So much like me looking at Erlang on the Beam has got me interested in other languages that run on the Beam. Same with Java. But almost like the reverse, as I looked at other languages that run on on JVM, I got really interested in Java. So when I was looking at Scala recently, or Clojure originally was the one that got me interested again. And then coming up, I think in another Reasons and Resources episode, we've got Kotlin. So yeah, some interesting stuff that runs on the JVM. And also, because of that, there's a whole sort of interconnectivity rabbit hole that you can go down, in terms of where you can have one language on the JVM talking to code that's been written in another language, because it's all being compiled down to, that's the important thing to remember. See, all of these are compiling down to the JVM bytecode that actually runs there. So yeah, there's again, once it's on that JVM, there's all sorts of possibilities that open up to you. Let's have a look at the sort of take up, the popularity, as I've said. So you can see here, in terms of what they call most popular technologies for the Stack Overflow 2024. We're down here, so we're up with the usual suspects, a mixture of web technologies basically, and Python. Well, Python's also you can use on the web. And I think I've said this before. This is a really interesting group of programming languages to learn. These ones here, if you feel so inclined, by both, programming, scripting and markup, if I'm being strict here about the definitions. Admired and desired, where is it on this? This always fascinates me, this particular graph. So 47.6 admired and 17.9 desired. And that's based on this question again, which I've highlighted before. So if you want to know like the rationale or try and make sense of the results, then make sure you read the question that they were asked in the survey. That will give you some insight into the relationship between those two values. And then finally, top paying. There's my friend Erlang. And we are, like a lot of things, I suppose part of it is, although it's in demand, there's a lot of Java code out there. I imagine a lot of people know how to code in Java. So, yeah. in demand, but there's quite a number of Java programmers there. I mean, the thing with Erlang is in demand relative to the number of people that can program in Erlang. Probably the ratio of the two is, that's the thing, like who can program it and how in demand is it, and then that sort of gives you some idea of how much firms are willing to pay, I suppose. I haven't really brought this up before, but when you're considering any reasons for doing things, it's a good idea to see what the criticisms of a particular language are. And with Java, there are quite a number here that are documented. And it is useful to know those because it does bring up some interesting stuff that maybe you've not realised. Particularly I find when you come over from another language, sometimes you expect things to behave a certain way and they don't. And so it is a good idea to check out if one of those things might be tied in with a criticism, just to give yourself a sort of heads up. In terms of the resources, there's loads. With this language, because of it being originally developed, Oracle Corporation behind it. So originally developed at Sun Microsystems, Java platform, and if you want to go back, you could sort of see the developmental history, I suppose, of the language, and also information about James Gosling. But consequently, it's got this massive base of information and support behind it. So there's the main website. Then we've got dev.java for the web developers. The other thing to remember is you might want to read a little bit around the difference between OpenJDK, which is Oracle's free GPL license production ready version, and the commercially licensed version, just so you're clear about usage. Okay, so I'm mainly pootling around with Java code, so I have OpenJDK on my system, but there might be circumstances where if it's a commercially licensed product, then you need to look into that side of things. So there's a link as well to the OpenJDK releases for the builds for the different architectures. This is the other the Java downloads that are available here as well from their main site. A lot of this stuff is cross-linked as well. So they've got the JRE here as well, the Java Runtime Environment. So that's if you're just trying to run the code rather than develop it. So then we've got various Java tutorials, of which there are many. And then the other thing I noticed for this, and I just wanted to point people in the direction, is I've done courses on Udemy, but I haven't done these. But what I was made aware of is, as I was putting this episode together, there's actually a number of free tutorials on Udemy. That's not the only platform there's free tutorials on, but it was interesting like how many there were for complete beginners and basic stuff as well. So if you already have an account with Udemy, because you can use it to scroll through free courses. You don't have to enroll if you want to. It's a good way of checking out some free stuff on Java. Most of the times I've used it, I've done the paid for courses, and it was mainly for when I was doing quite a bit of data science stuff. Okay, I've got an interview or a Q&A with James Gosling, godfather of Java. I've got a link to the main Java official channel on YouTube, So you can check out loads of stuff there, lots of interesting videos and presentations and all manner of things related to Java. I found this really interesting video about the anatomy of the JVM, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, so I think it's definitely worthwhile understanding about the JVM and how it actually functions, I think. So something if you want to go down that rabbit hole, which I encourage you to do, then check out this. I would like to mention a few podcasts. I just think I'll mention one here. It's Inside Java. Java Developer. You can see here, it's got the good old coffee cup. I'm trying to think what book I have, which leads me nicely. No. So Free Code Camp do a Java handbook. Also, I don't know when this video goes out whether this is going to still be available to download for free. You do have to sign up for a free account at Red Hat Developer, but this has been up here for quite a while. I don't know when they're thinking about pulling it down. My guess is, as a consequence of it being up here in PDF format, completely downloadable, there's probably copies of it all over the web. But yeah, just to say, Java in a nutshell. I have an earlier version of this book actually. I think that's right. Anyway, yeah. I'm just trying to think whether I've got JavaScript in a nutshell or Java in a nutshell. Yeah, I must have, because I recognise the tiger. So I have an earlier version of this with a slightly different image on it. Then we've got Exorcism. I'm tending to mention this most episodes, mainly because I'm always curious about how much stuff is on there, because it's different for different languages. So there's 25 key concepts on there that you can master, alongside the usual set of challenges you can do alongside that. So we can go into basics, explore the concepts of basics, and then there's a learning exercise, cook your lasagna. You'll notice if you use Exorcism a lot, the nice thing I actually like with this is the challenges, the coding exercises are all the same, but they just just do them in different languages. So it's interesting if you're looking at different languages, you can see the commonality. And then finally, I did want to mention about Javadoc, which is this documentation generator. And it's something that I've not explored that much, but it's a useful, again, side quest to go down. In some languages better than others. I think I was really impressed by, the one I saw in Erlang. And you can read a little bit more about that. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's an interesting concept to master and leverage. Yeah. Okay, so there we have it. Hope you enjoyed that look at reasons and resources to learn Java. Thanks for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future video.